So, if you're a homeowner here in New Jersey, you've probably asked this question a million times. How long is my roof actually supposed to last? You see these big numbers on the shingle packages, but what do they really mean for us with our wild weather? Well, let's get into it and find a real, honest answer. First things first, we have to tackle the biggest myth out there. You see a package that says 30-year shingle, so that means you're getting a 30-year roof, right? Yeah, you'd think so. But the surprising truth is, it's almost never that simple. But before we bust that myth wide open, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. We're talking about composite roofing here, which, let's be honest, is the most common type of roof you're going to see on houses all across New Jersey. So what is a composite shingle anyway? Well, think of it like a little layered sandwich. At the very core, you've got a fiberglass mat. That's what gives it strength. Then it's coated in waterproof asphalt, and finally, the top is covered with these tiny ceramic granules that protect it from the sun and, give it some color. It's a simple and really effective design. Okay, now for the main event, that 30-year label. The reason that number can be so misleading comes down to one huge difference: a perfect, controlled lab versus the rough-and-tumble reality of New Jersey weather. This quote from a roofing pro just hits the nail on the head. Those big lifespan ratings, they're achieved under perfect laboratory conditions, conditions your roof will never ever see. The real world is just a much tougher place. And this chart just lays it all out. See, in a lab, there's no wind, no storms, and definitely no brutal New Jersey freeze-thaw cycles. But out here, in the real world, our roofs have to deal with all of it. That constant cycle of freezing and thawing alone causes shingles to expand and contract, and that ages them way faster. And that's not even getting into how well it was installed in the first place. So if we can't trust the number on the package, what should a New Jersey homeowner really expect? Let's get to a practical, honest answer. Here it is, the real number. For most modern composite shingle roofs here in Jersey, you should realistically expect them to last somewhere between 15 and 25 years. Not 30, not 50. This is the number that actually accounts for our climate and our conditions. Now, I know what you're thinking, 15 to 25 years. That's a pretty big window. And you're right. That's because a few major factors can decide whether your roof makes it to the high end of that range or fails on the early side. So let's look at what those are. Okay, so number one, as we've said, is our four-season climate. It's just tough on materials. Number two is a big one that a lot of people overlook: attic ventilation. If your attic can't breathe properly, all that summer heat gets trapped and literally cooks your shingles from the bottom up. It makes them brittle and they can fail years early. And number three is improper installation. You can have the best shingles in the world, but if they weren't put on right, they are gonna fail, period. And even worse, it can actually void your manufacturer's warranty, leaving you high and dry. All right, so with all this in mind, you're probably looking at your own roof a little differently now. And that brings up the big question: does it need a simple repair, or is it time to think about a full replacement? Let's figure out what to look for. You can actually start by just taking a look yourself. A few shingles blown off in a storm? That might just be a repair job. But if you're seeing bigger issues, like the edges of a bunch of shingles are starting to curl up, or you see these bald spots where all those little protective granules have worn off, that's a sign the whole system is getting old. And, of course, any water spots on your ceiling are a huge red flag that you need to address right away. But look, while you can definitely spot these obvious signs, the only way to know for sure what's going on is to get a professional to take a look. Because of our unique climate, an expert can spot those subtle issues caused by years of wear and tear that you just can't see from the ground. They can help you make that crucial call. Can a repair buy you a few more years, or is it really time to start planning for a replacement? In the end, knowing what to look for is powerful, but a professional inspection, that's what gives you the real answer and some genuine peace of mind.